Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in.
Hello, welcome to the podcast today. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see that I'm actually sitting on the floor, resting against a bed in the sunshine. We're away for a little Airbnb road trip with our family before our kids go back to school. We've also just closed doors to our Ending Body Burnout Method program a week ago. So we always love to get away for a few days, reset, recharge, relax, and also connect with our children. So this is why I am squinting in the sun. The audio might not be as good as usual if you're just listening to the audio, but hold on for a moment until we get to the main episode because the audio will go back to our usual good quality audio. So I just wanted to introduce what we're sharing today in our potty. Where Chris and I did, it was quite a few years ago, I think it was back in 2022, a workshop inside our Ending Body Burnout Method program with our clients, all about redefining your identity so that you can heal. And I really wanted to share this one, almost like as a part 2 of a podcast we did back in September, all around chronic health labels and how you can unconsciously identify them as the truth of who you are, and it can absolutely block your healing. So today, this workshop or this podcast episode is kind of like, part 2 to help unpack further the role that our identity has on our ability to heal and to be well and to thrive. And we'll also coach you, or essentially we coached clients inside the workshop on how to start unraveling and changing that identity. So I really hope you find lots of gold nuggets in today's episode. And I'd love to hear what you think about it. Make sure you comment on the podcast episode. You can always comment on our socials or send me a private DM. I love to hear from our listeners. All right, let's dive in.
Underneath all behaviors, there's a bunch of beliefs. There's a bunch of things that you believe to be true about yourself. Your nervous system gets wonky, gets a little bit dysregulated when you have dysfunctional beliefs, when you have systemic inflammation. We've talked about this one before, but tonight we're gonna go even before, right back before these things, to your identity. We're gonna try and tap into that tonight, and by getting clear on who you want to be and how you want to show up and what game you're playing in your life, you're going to find it a lot easier to regulate your nervous system. There's an NLP presupposition. It says you are not your behaviors. You're not your behaviors. So let's rattle off a few. A hypochondriac. You're not a hypochondriac. You're not a sick person.
Broken.
You're not broken.
Victim, addicted doer.
Yeah. You're not a martyr. You're not
people pleaser.
You're not a dragon mum or dragon dad. You're not a what are some others?
You can put some in the chat too.
Yeah, if you can think of some.
Like not even.
You're not a depressed person. You're not an anxious person. Yeah. That sort of thing. You're not a
sensitive petal person.
You're not an emotional eater, right? You're not what's a really negative one? You're not an ugly person. You're not a what's some other insensitive ones? You're not a skinny person. You're not a fat person. You're not a insert derogative word, whatever word comes to your mind, doesn't matter. You're not a worthless person, right? These identities, these labels, they're not even true. You are not your behaviors. You might do that last one, worthless. You might do worth less things compared to something that's worth more. But what is worth? What is value? It's different for everybody. You talk to a person who's got a spinach farm and you try and sell them some spinach, and they're probably going to look at you and be like, I don't need this. I'm not even going to take that off your hand for free. I got all the spinach I can need. But you go to somebody who doesn't have any spinach at all, and they're going to really value that spinach, especially if it's beautiful, fresh, organic, Australian native spinach from Chris and Philly's garden. What else we got? It's funny. Okay, so you are not your behaviors, but but the most important information about a person is their behavior. I'll show you that one. You are not your behaviors. You're not your behaviors. But the most important information about a person is their behavior. What?
Anyone take a guess as to what that means? It's like, sounds very contradictory.
The cool thing about this presupposition is that behavior never lies. You are not your behaviors. You're not a particular type of person. Demi, we're just talking about identity tonight. And the most important information about you as a person is your behavior.
I like what Nikki has said.
What did Nikki say?
Your behavior often indicates where you are in your journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ding,
yeah,
ding, ding.
that's it.
You have like a Cluffy thing.
Oh, man.
It doesn't work anymore?
I accidentally deleted it and I can't find how to install it again. I wasted too many minutes trying to figure that one out.
There you go. Amanda's giving you a virtual clap.
Yay! All right. Here's a little analogy. Phil, do you want to talk about the box factory?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to talk about this really specifically in terms of like a health symptom. Let's just pick something out. Anxiety.
Cool.
Actually, no. I'm going to do food issues, because that's sort of like, okay, because that'll make more sense. So some people, okay, there's a factory that makes boxes, and suddenly, all of a sudden, this machine is spitting out boxes that have a missing side. And so the workers are like, oh my goodness, how are we going to fix this? So they start fixing, this is a make-believe story, by the way. They start trying to fix these boxes by adding another side to the box. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's fixed. Cool. Let's like pass that on. That's fixed. Let's pass that on. And what's the issue there? Like, where's the actual dysfunction, or where's the broken link happening? Is it the actual end outcome of the box and you just need to fix the box, or is there something wrong with the machine? So if you think about behaviors, this is like a bit of a random metaphor, but if you think about behaviors, a lot of people are trying to, so food intolerance is a perfect example, because a lot of people will think, yeah, it's the food that is causing the issues. I got to stop eating the food. And that's kind of like trying to fix the box in the end outcome. But then if you think about health issues that pop up, or different behaviors that lead to health issues, instead of trying to address where you are right now, or the health issue or the behavior, it's like, what about actually fixing what actually caused that thing to happen in the first place? And that's kind of like fixing the machine, not the end outcome of the box. Because when you fix the machine, you're going to get perfect boxes.
Absolutely. All right. All resistance indicates a lack of rapport with self. All resistance indicates a lack of rapport with self. So when we talk about that, we mean any sort of resistance, like sickness, like frustrations, annoyances, triggers, hatred, shame, guilt, anxiety, depression, pain, discomfort. What are some others? Bloating, cramping, some sort of gut stuff. It all of that indicates a lack of rapport with self. All right. So how is that? How is that showing a lack of rapport? Well, tonight we're going to talk about that. All right. So let's find some. Let's get a little bit. Maybe we don't need to do this one so much. No, we'll skip this. All right, let's talk about this. Identity. Identity sits here underneath purpose. These are logical levels. These are levels that we consciously go through in our life when we live. How we think and how we perceive life. All right. So, identity is more about who you're being when you show up in the world, who you're being, and the attributes or the archetypes or the standards that you have. All right. So if you've got a purpose, if you've got a mission, if you've got a wanting, you're being a type of person when you want that thing. All right. So if you want something different to what you've got right now, then you need to be a different person. If you want more of what you've got right now, then there's something in your identity, in your behavior set, in who you actually are that can be magnified. All right, so there's some things tonight that we're going to dial into about your identity that's going to be more powerful. If we focused on only your behavior, stop eating the cupcakes, stop doing the thing, stop being in pain, stop having SIBO, all that sort of stuff, without changing who you are and what you do repeatedly, and what you think about, you're probably not going to make a long-lasting change, long-term change. I hope I've explained that. Okay, if you've got any questions, pop it into the chat box and let us know. Phil, do you want to talk about the healthy identity?
Yeah, and maybe that will kind of help to explain the model that Chris just showed. So, okay, so a question like in the chat box: Do you believe you can heal? Like, do you believe that you are healing? Do you believe that there's a reality where you're completely whole and healthy? And it's okay if you feel like it's not. Like, just honest, when there's judgment, you can't have self-awareness with judgment. So that's not a loaded question. Just like pop in the chat box, I believe, or I'm like semi there, or
like yes,
no,
heck yeah,
but
heck no.
Yes.
Yeah, men is yes. Cool. Cool. Nikki,
I really feel like I'm heading there. Awesome.
Love it.
So you can kind of see the end destination. Like that's a reality you can see for yourself.
Heading there. I love the language of what you've just said there, Nikki. Like, I feel like I'm heading there. I'm heading there, as in kind of like you're in a car and you're driving to the right destination. Is that what you mean? Yeah, cool. So that's an interesting language, and if you think about that, what kind of person goes on a journey or heads in that direction? What kind of person is traveling in that direction? What kind of person is traveling in the opposite direction to that. That's cool. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah. Yeah. So healthy identity. Okay. Yes. I wonder on foods though. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Every cell is listening. Every cell is listening to your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, what you say out loud. And so we want to talk about identity as the secret source to actually getting true healing. Because now I'm not saying that anyone who said yes is wrong, like that's awesome, but so here's the thing. So you can believe that you can heal, but have you created an identity where like wholeheartedly you are like, I trust my body. I know that it is perfect and that it works perfectly and I am healthy right now. I'm just healing. So there's kind of nuances around that. And sometimes people can believing is the first step, because if you don't even believe that you can heal, then it's going to be a really hard journey to try and heal. It doesn't mean that you can't start believing, and you know, if that's you, that's where you're sitting at, that's totally fine. Now I'll give you a story about me and when I was starting to heal myself, and I'll talk about food specifically because it's kind of like just an easy example to understand. So when I started healing my body, the first thing I did was just like went Nazi over like eating healthy. I'm like sprouting things. I even found a secret farmer that I could get raw milk from. Like I was just like all over the healthy eating. Only on the weekdays. And then on the weekends, I was like, yeah, I've done so well. I'm going to treat myself. So I go and eat all the things. And it was a bit dysfunctional too, because like I would go out to social events and I'd actually hide the food and eat the food away from people. So, you know, ding, 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 that's kind of like a little behavioral pattern that's a dysfunctional that's saying, do you actually really think that you're healthy and that you are whole and that you can heal when you're coming to food with that energy? So anyway, if I knew what I knew now, I would have done things a lot differently. But back then I was just like, oh, I see all these healthy people and like, you know, they've got health and they're eating healthy most of the time, but they're eating like burgers or ice cream or whatever. So like I can do that and I can still be healthy. Yet the dysfunctional thing for me was that I had a lot of shame and guilt and I was like literally hiding. I was so embarrassed about what I was eating when I ate unhealthy. And so then I went through a different journey. I'm like, no, I'm going to stop doing that. And I just like went 100% eating healthy, but it was out of force. Like it was just like that energy again, like I didn't have a very good identity to base my healthy eating on and my ability to try and heal my body. And yeah, journey. So then like, I don't know, it was probably like 3, 4, 5 years ago, came out of that space to like, okay, I know what my body likes. I choose foods that nourish and support my body. I don't eat perfectly. I eat sorbet sometimes. And I don't know what else is something that's maybe not like super healthy. Rice crackers, that's not bad. But anyway, I got to a point where I really enjoyed the food that I was eating. I had what I thought was no kind of like guilt or shame around what I was eating. And my body was responding well to it. Okay. Now, more recently, what I realized was there were still some behavioral habits, and this is me being like 90% like symptom free. So like feeling really good physically in my health. Yet there were some things that were still happening, and I think I've spoken to a few people about this, but like heartburn was something that was still happening and it flared up with COVID and never really disappeared. And so anyway, I've gone through a journey where I'm like, okay, I'm going to like take out the factor that food is causing this. You know how you like when you break up with someone, it's like, it's not me. No, it's not you, it's me. Well, I was doing the opposite with food. I'm like, it's not me, it's you, food. Until I'm like, okay, let's dig into this. And so I have been on like really like a journey of establishing a new identity, and one that is, we'll talk about rapport and self-alignment and all that sort of stuff in a second. But when I was able to do that, I was able to clearly see nuances around what I was eating. And even though I said I was healthy and whole, there were little thoughts that will pop up or little actions that I would do that actually showed that I wasn't trusting my body to digest food properly.
Like little things like even kind of like still a bit of shame or guilt. So a good example the other day was we were eating porters when we went to Canberra, like nasty kind of takeaway. And I bought it and it was like, I'm like, yep, no, that's what I feel like. It's not the best food, but you know, there's not a lot available in the airport.
We had the best choice that we possibly could. Like it was.
Well, I could
we
have had rice
we had
cracker, rice.
chicken and chips.
Chicken and
so
chips. So it wasn't terrible.
Hydrogenated oils and probably
But anyway,
full chicken.
we found this quiet spot in the airport. Was about to open up my Oportos, and who would walk past but a couple that lived just down the road from us? And in my head, this is the first thing. This is even after doing a lot of work around this, but the first thought that popped up in my head was, oh, crap. Why do they have to walk past us? I'm about to tuck into like chicken and chips. They're going to think I'm so unhealthy. And then I kind of like disregarded the thought. They chatted and they kept talking about the dinner. Oh, enjoy your dinner. And in my head, I'm like, shut up about the dinner. Stop talking about my dinner. Stop it. Stop it. Just go, go, go. And the craziest thing was that, so 3 days earlier, being in Canberra, eating lots of food, still making good choices. But like I was eating chips, I was eating sorbet. Like there were foods that usually would have caused issues. We were in a beautiful space at a retreat basically on personal development. No heartburn issues at all the whole time when foods would have been causing so many gut issues. But after the Oportos and after these little things that were popping up in my head, it was like heartburn, mega, like for 6 hours until I apologized to myself and the heartburn disappeared. It was crazy. And so the point of that story is, and we're going to talk about all of the stuff that kind of like is intermingled in that story, but when you can establish an identity for yourself that allows healing and health and wholeness, and if you can stay in alignment with yourself and trust your body and be happy with who you are and not worry about what other people are saying or thinking about you. That was kind of my example. Like your body will respond to that.
Cool. Let's read some stuff. This, hopefully you guys can read this. But it says, I realized
Jim Carrey, by the way, actor, in case anyone doesn't
everyone
recognize.
should know who Jim Carrey is, right? Anyway, I realized I could lose myself in a character. I could live in a character. It was a choice. Spelling error. And when I finished with that, it took a month to remember who I was. What do I believe? What are my politics? What do I like and dislike? It took me a while and I was depressed going back into my concerns and my politics. But there was a shift that had already happened. And the shift was, wait a second. If I can put Jim Carrey aside for 4 months, who is Jim Carrey? Who the hell is that? I know now he does not really exist. His ideas. Jim Carrey was an idea my parents gave me. Irish, Scottish, French was an idea I was given. Canadian was an idea that I was given. I had a hockey team and a religion and all of these things that cobble together into this kind of Frankenstein monster, this representation. It's like an avatar. These are all the things I am. You are not an actor or a lawyer. No one is a lawyer. There are lawyers, law is practice, but no one is a lawyer. There is no one, in fact, there. So long story short, your identity's not fixed. It's impermanent a word? Non-permanent. It's non-permanent. You can scrub it out, you can rub it out, you can tweak it, you can alter it. Your identity, it shapes and molds your behaviors and your beliefs. All right. So underneath all of that, on top of all of your beliefs and your values is your identity. let's do some chatting. Let's catch up. Where are you guys at? How are you going with this concept on identity? You picking up what we're putting down, or you feel kind of lost?
And do you see how it links to ending body burnout?
Yeah. And be
Be honest.
Be-
If it's just like clarity, please.
Yeah. Because we think we've done an okay job of explaining for everybody, but if we haven't, just please let us know. So we're going to wait on like a Y for yes, or an N for no, or punch in a question. Like if you get it, then you get it. See if you can pop that in. All right, Lisa's yes. Cool. Demi's yep.
Awesome.
Groovy. All right, let's punch on. Congruence. What is congruence? So by definition, congruence is, let's go dictionary first. So dictionary is agreement or harmony or compatibility. Okay, stick with me here. Carl Rogers, a humanist psychologist, he said that the congruence is the compliance between ideal self and the actual self. But then I'm a bit of an etymology nut. I love etymology, etym online, I think it's called, the website I always go to. So anyway, you break congruence down, and con means together or with. And you can write in language, you can write con, or you can write com, or come here, come together. You know, those two prefixes mean the same thing. But then the last part of it, gruence or grua or ruer, means fall or rush. Here's something cool. So if you think about it, ruach in Hebrew, ruach means air. It means breath, right? It means spirit. And if you're familiar with like the Bible, for example, at the very beginning, God breathed into Adam. And so the Hebrew word that's used in there is ruach. So literally, congruence means as I live and breathe. As I live and breathe. So if you think about living congruently, you are living and breathing, you're alive, doing and thinking the things that are in complete harmony to your goals and who you actually want to be, your ideal self. You're living and breathing like you believe your ideal self should, right? That's what congruence means. And is that the same as being your authentic self? I reckon there, you could probably break the words down and all that sort of stuff, which I do, and I love doing that. But I reckon you're exactly right. Your authentic self, doing the things that just are authentically genuine. And there's a spirit inside of all of us. There's regardless of you might call this something different. Soul,
energy,
spirit, energy, warm and fuzzy,
connected to the universe.
Yeah, connected to a higher source or a higher power. You might even call it your conscience or your intuition. You might have a different name for it, but Philly and I call it the spirit, and we believe that we've all got one, and it's just the thing that's not your skin and muscle and bones and all that sort of stuff. It's that little bit inside of you that's not that.
It's the thing that makes you, and like, give me a nod if you felt this, but it's the thing that it's just like, oh, I feel so good. It's like the goosebumps and the you feel like the light and the love, and you know, it's usually shows up when you're feeling like really happy or really at peace. Has anyone else felt that?
Cool.
Yes? No?
The other one is, it's like your inner voice we just watched Pinocchio again, and it's like your little Jiminy Cricket, that thing that says your conscience. Pinocchio lost his conscience. He misplaced it. And sometimes we don't listen to our inner voice. Sometimes we don't listen to our conscience as well. We're kind of like Pinocchio.
Inner voice too, I think about the subconscious state sending you and we've talked about that a lot in other workshops, that the subconscious state sending you little messages up to your conscious mind. So it's kind of like, oh, that's a weird thing that's popping, or like a weird memory, or like, oh, why do I keep thinking this thing over and over? That's kind of like this, unlocking this inner voice.
See, when you were born with full potential. Oh, that's Billy. When you were born with full, pure potential.
There was nothing wrong with you. You were a perfect little piece of meat and bones and spirit.
Yeah, you just.
Do you agree?
The world's your oyster. You could do whatever
You're just
you want.
so cute and chubby, and even when you cried, everyone loved you.
You might. Everyone's probably got an opinion on this, but you might not have chosen how you came into the world, but ever since you've been able to make decisions, you've been making decisions. And it's kind of like an avalanche rolling down the mountain. I've never seen an avalanche rolling down the mountain, but on TV I have, and on Looney Tunes, on cartoons I have, and it starts with something small and it just kind of builds into this avalanche. Usually like some sort of cartoon character rolling down the mountain with like snowballs attached to him. Anyway, you are born with pure potential, and I feel like sometimes we might lose track of where we want to go. Sometimes we get completely on the right mindset, in the right direction. We might know who we want to be and what we want to do, and then sometimes we forget, or we get lost. So what we want to do, we've talked about where you want to go, your desired state, in the past couple of workshops. And now, so basically, even if you've forgotten, now you remembered, now it's there. And so let's get you living and breathing according to your true, purest potential.
And I know this sounds really abstract and vague, but I'll go back to the heartburn story. And so like my old Philly program, so the broken machine that was spitting out the box that had no side, like the deepest thing was around like I was weak and incapable, and then that drove like addictive doing and overachieving, and even like thinking that my body wasn't capable enough to heal itself and to be whole on its own. So when So then the heartburn happened, and I'm just like, oh, okay, rapport broken. Talk about that in a seckie. But I just it wasn't even just the heartburn. It was this just yucky feeling, like this incongruent feeling where I'm just like, I know that something's wrong and something's up, and I don't think it's just a physical heartburn irritating me. And then it wasn't until I was able to listen into the inner voice, and it's like, all right, well, really it was self-awareness, which is the inner voice. It's like, okay, what happened there? Oh yeah, okay. So it wasn't just the gross chips that I ate. It was literally the fact that I broke a promise to myself that I am awesome. Like I don't have to worry about what other people eat if I occasionally eat chips. And like I am a good practitioner, and I'm not perfect and all that sort of stuff. And so I broke a little agreement with myself. My inner voice told me that because it just kept coming back to this conversation that we had. And so I just had to dissect it. And then the pure potential, like I could feel that when I said sorry to myself and like reminded myself that yes, I am strong and capable, and my body can do this, and my body is great at digesting, and it doesn't matter what I eat, in terms of like what other people think about me and how I eat. And then when you have that congruence, and maybe you might have felt this sometime, it's just like you just feel alignment with yourself. You feel good about yourself. You feel peaceful. You feel light and love. Has anyone felt this, or am I just like weird?
Nikki's nodding her head.
Great. Okay. So that's what we're talking about, this feeling. And if you haven't felt it before, oh my goodness, I'm so excited for you to experience this, because you will just it would just light up your world and your body. Like, even as I'm talking, I'm feeling healing within my physical body. Like, this is the connection between body, mind, and spirit. When everything's connected and in alignment with each other, like, your body can heal.
Yeah, cool. G says the inner voice is getting louder recently. Awesome. I love it.
Cool. And that's probably because you're listening to it or more aware. Like, yeah, it's the practice as well. It's like if you meet someone and you're like struggling to communicate with them, well, I mean, you could give up, or you could just work on communicating better. And like, that's exactly what it's like when you're communicating to yourself.
So rapport with self. When you're feeling like you're in rapport with yourself, this is what we mean by that. It's a close and harmonious relationship in which one is able to understand the communication of the body, mind, and spirit. So when you really feel like you can understand what your body and your mind and your spirit is telling you, and maybe even an external source or God or Holy Spirit or inspiration, whatever you want to call it, right? That external to you thing that you feel or that you are aware of, all of those things, you can be in rapport. And specifically, we want to talk about you, like being in rapport with you. Okay. And so when you are just in harmony, if Philly and I were to sing and we're trying to like harmonize, because I'm such an awesome singer and she's terrible. No, I'm just kidding. It's the opposite. I would be pitchy and all over the place. And everybody listening would be like, Chris and Philly cannot sing, but it's totally just me because I'm not in harmony with the duet. Amanda says, Chris is such an awesome singer. I love listening to Chris sing. I'm just kidding. That's amazing. When I burned out recently, my body was freaking out and my mind didn't know why. It was clearly a disconnection. I love it.
Yeah. And oh man, next week, we are going to go deep into like the pain and the signals that your body gives you. I'm so excited, but we need to do this one, which I also love, but we need to do this one so you can understand that. Because like what's the, okay, so everyone's had like health stuff, yeah? Like in order for your body, in order for your like conscious mind to get some sort of like shake up, it's like there's something going on and I'm not happy with something inside you, whether that's physical or emotional or mental. Like, what is the thing that grabs your attention the most? And like maybe you actually have something. Like for me it was the heartburn and the chest tightness. For other people it might be other things. Like Chris gets a really sore hip.
And also, so on the good side, when I feel like I'm purely aligned, when I feel like I'm on the right track, I get goosebumps and I get little warm and fuzzies and I feel just like, teary, but not happy teary, motivated teary, that sort of thing. And eyes kind of get wet. I get all that sort of stuff when I know I'm on the right track. And here's the thing. Sometimes, you said the inner voice is getting louder recently, right? Louder recently. Sometimes, and I like what you said there, because sometimes we just, courage. Courage is the thing that we need. We need courage to listen to that inner voice, or courage to listen to that inspiration, courage to actually do the thing that's in alignment, that is in the right direction.
Well, yeah, it's like the courage of following through as well. So just to continue on with my heartburn story, the actual reason around the heartburn was the fact it was about what other people were thinking about me. Like that was the big thing. And especially like as a health practitioner, I felt like I needed to look a certain way and eat a certain way. And even though like in my life, I'm actually completely happy with how I eat and live my life. Like I actually think it's pretty awesome. I'm not perfect, but there was still these little voices that kept saying, oh, everyone's watching you. They're going to think badly of you. Da, 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 da. And so one thing was around my skin as well. So I was actually taking I was using a supplement. Now, guys, I know that most of you are on supplements, and I'm not saying supplements are bad at all. They're part of the healing process. But I was using one for many, many years, and I was just too scared to stop it. Like literally, I was too scared to stop a supplement called Menstro Care because I thought that my skin would get really bad if I went off it. And then when I was trying to work out where this heartburn was coming from, because I did all the gut healing that I did 5 years ago that fixed it all, and then it came back, or 7 years ago, and then it came back, and I'm like doing all the same treatments, physical treatments. I'm like, this is not getting better. There's something else going on here. The moment I decided I'm going to take out this supplement, I'm going to trust my body that it can do what it's supposed to do, then I'm going to have lovely hormones. If I happen to get pimples, I'm going to still love myself and think I'm flipping awesome. And the moment I took the supplement out, it was like the heartburn stopped. It literally stopped. It's come back a few times when I've broken rapport with myself, when I've thought, oh, someone's thinking badly of me, or, you know, whatever that thing is. It's like heartburn comes back straight away. It's crazy.
So let's go to this one. You'll never regret listening to yourself. So Jamin Fraser says this one. Yeah, you'll never regret it. So that's along the lines of
yeah. Sorry,
courage.
the reason why I was talking about the menstrual care is because I was literally scared. I know this sounds completely silly, but I was scared to stop this supplement because of what might have happened if, for example, skin flaring up, which it actually didn't even do that. Got a couple of pimples or something. And I was scared. I was so scared. And there have been many, many other times too where you know, things have come to my conscious mind. I'm like, oh, okay, yep, that's out of an alignment. I need to reconnect and establish rapport with myself. I need to trust my body. And it took courage. But the moment I did it, I never regretted listening to myself. So maybe you might be at the point where you're like, I don't even know what I'm listening to. So like, you know, and that's okay. But when you get to the point where it's like, you're getting signals loud and clear that something needs to change, or you need to establish rapport with yourself, you need to trust yourself, and it might seem scary, like it's your wisdom talking to yourself. So it's always going to end good.
So David Hawkins has an awesome book called Power versus Force, and in that book he has a map of consciousness. It's kind of like a scale. Down the very bottom, I'm going to power through this. Kind of run out of time to dig into this. I'm going to have to do some other videos. Needless to say, shame, guilt, and apathy. I call it in the red zone. That's Chrisism.
Can you zoom in a bit with what you're looking at?
Yeah. Okay. So in the red zone, we've got apathy, guilt, and shame. And then you've got grief, fear, desire. Then you've got anger and pride. Above that, energetically speaking, is courage. Courage is kind of like the tipping point. It's the tipping point before personal growth just goes gangbusters. Just right before everything,
and
just
healing, even like physical healing.
Yeah.
You can't heal in shame.
Yeah, pop that into that bucket too. So when you are feeling shame or guilt or apathy, it's really heavy. Who said that about Nikki? Out of alignment is heavy, in alignment is light.
Yeah, that's cool.
So when you're feeling guilt and shame, apathy, like those real dense feelings, you are heavy. You feel heavy. You probably literally have heavy on you, as in weight. You probably have more weight. You probably have more emotional baggage as well. Shame with my spelling. That's okay. I didn't notice until you said it.
Now you can move to acceptance, which is in the blue range.
So courage. Anyway, the last thing I'll say about this is courage gets you. It's the thing that gets you moving towards your who you want to be. Okay. So now let's choose your character. Has anyone seen played Dungeons and Dragons or watched what's Stranger Things? Anyone seen Stranger Things? So cool. Yes. So in Stranger Things, the boys love playing Dungeons and Dragons. I love playing Dungeons and Dragons when I was a kid. Where you get to choose your own character. So when you get started, you choose your character and you give your character attributes and a name. I can't remember what I was, but I used to make ridiculous characters, like just stupid ones. With my magic skill would be jumping on heads. Like that would be my thing, but it would cause damage. Anyway, the cool thing is you could be really creative with your character, who you want to be. Like there's no rules. You can have special powers. You can have special habits. You can literally choose who you want to be. Sometimes you might need to get a role model, like finding somebody that you look up to and are inspired by. Could be Philly, it could be me, it could be one of you guys, it could be somebody else. Or it might not be one person, it might be many people. It might be someone that you've met or that you know. It might be somebody that you've never met. It might be somebody that you've just invented. But having somebody that you can aspire to be like, not from like a guilt or a shame thing, but from an inspiring, courageous, they can do things or know how to do things that maybe you don't.
Yeah, it's also, so the reason why we're talking about characters is because we're talking about identity and redefining your identity so you can get more of what you want, which is more health and everything else that you want as well in your life. And so we like to use character because, like, going back to Jim Carrey, every time he did a new movie, new character, and then he kind of like forgot who he was, and then he had to create his own like new Jim Carrey version. So character is kind of a good and even playful way of, because sometimes, like, I don't know, maybe some people have been trying to create a new identity and try to be who you need or want to be in order to heal and get healthy, and maybe it hasn't been working very well at the moment. Maybe it has. Like, if it has and it's working, cool, keep doing what you're doing, and maybe these can just be little like add-ons. But if you're kind of really struggling to shift who you are so that you can actually heal and be healthy, adopting a character is a great way to do it. And like a role model too. So I'll give you, before we jump into, like, we're going to do some chat box and some workshopping around this, but just for me, again, like I was just like, really back in the day when I was physically healing, I was just like, I really was just physically healing, and I didn't understand or even know the power of looking at body, mind and spirit. More recently, when I'm like, I really want to get on top of this heartburn and just like other stuff in my life, I full on like characterized, but I did it in a way that I found a few people, some people I knew. So Chris has this amazing tendency.
Biceps.
Okay, so my old character was very, again, like driven out of fear and force, because I'm like, I'm weak. I've got to do more. So like I had this really negative pattern of overdoing and working too hard and not being able to switch off even when I was relaxing or having self-care or spending time with the family. I was very out of alignment because I just like, I couldn't relax. And so one of my caricatures or role models was Chris, not to give him a big head. In fact, I didn't even tell him for a while, because I'm like, because some of the things that really used to pee me off about Chris were things that I was missing that I actually kind of needed. So I didn't tell him for a while.
That's like everything, really, isn't it? Like sometimes
a frustration with yourself, with someone else, is usually a frustration with your own self. Actually, that's like 100% like always the case. So Chris like has this awesome tendency fancy, or he just likes to live in the moment. And he, like, his whole, like, one of your highest values is to have comfort and pleasure and fun. And so I'm like, I need a little bit more of that. And so anyway, I was just literally watching him, how he did that. And I tried to model and copy it. So that was like one way. Another way was I found a few podcasts, like just people I admired, never met in my life, hadn't even worked with them. And I like binged on their podcast, just like analyzing what they said and how they, like, even like, especially around how they talk to themselves and like the strategies they used in their life. And then also got an awesome coach as well, who really helped in like real time, both with strategies, but also I was kind of modeling how he worked on his like self-limiting beliefs and insecurities so that I could then play that in my life and it made sense.
All right, let's party. Let's do this. Let's make some characters. So who do you want to be? Like, do you have a oh, hang on one second.
Yeah.
Do you have a person that you want to be like? Is there, if you were writing a script or a movie script for your future life, and you were writing down yourself and explanation about yourself as the main character, right? The hero, the victor, the winner. What attributes would you have? What would that character do? What do they believe? What do they value? Tell me, is there somebody that you want to model or be like? Let's make a flurry in the chat box and just pop in lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things about who you want to be. And we'll write the things that you punch into the chat box onto the screen. And Philly, if you've got something you wanted to say.
Oh, no. It was just like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be attributes. And there are some things I don't want to model of Chris. So it wasn't like, I want to be like Chris. I want to be this portion of Chris.
She doesn't want to pee standing up.
Oh, Mrs.
She doesn't want to do lots of things.
Mrs. Love and Compassion.
Love and compassion. I love it. There we go.
Is that like an actual person, Nikki, or is that sort of you want to be more loving and compassionate? You want to be more, or is that you?
Yeah.
I aspire. Yeah.
So Mrs. Love and Compassion, while you're popping that into the chat, Nikki, tell us more
Mrs.
about.
Love. I'm going to call you Mrs. Love from now on because you are her.
Tell us more about what Mrs. Love and Compassion looks like and what she does and how she lives her life. What's some things you can write about?
And if there's someone who it's like, oh yeah, I like how they do that. That's kind of, ugh.
That's close. Ah. So yeah, tell us, who do you want to be? What do you want your character to be like? Eckhart Tolle podcast. I can never spell his name.
Cool. Demi, that girl, again, is that like a person? Is that like a podcast or something? That girl? Or you want to be that girl who's confident, capable, strong, creative, respected, accomplished, loved?
I love it. That's awesome. Joyful.
Joyful Amanda, someone that listens more than she talks. She is
Awesome.
wise but not pushy. With people around, she's encouraging, she's patient, respecting that everyone is on a different journey. She gets curious instead of angry when things don't go her way. She is peaceful and her attitude helps to bring peace in the chaos of life and work. Oh, okay, damn it, just main character energy.
I love it.
Oh, I like that, Terry. I want to be myself when I was 30, 40 years old. Why
Awesome.
not? Like you know him very intimately, I'm sure.
And what does he do that inspires you so much, Terry? Like what does 30 or 40-year-old Terry live like? if you think about him and at that version of you, and you close your eyes and you just take a big deep breath and just feel inspired, like what comes to mind when you think of that, Terry?
And maybe also, Terry, like, was there anything kind of missing as well that you can kind of adopt or mold into the 35-year-old Terry?
Lisa says
courageous.
Courageous.
Awesome.
Yeah. So who do you know that maybe you could model that is courageous? Or if you don't know anybody that is courageous, where can you go looking for courageous people or courageous stuff? Nikki, you've always wanted to be a wise sage. That's cool. I love it. And if you think about being a wise sage, that person who is wise and knowledgeable, where could you go looking for wisdom and sage stuff?
Another thing for me, and this might just help you get kind of like your brainstorming as well, is I wanted to find someone who did something impossible that I wanted to achieve. And so, and so I went searching, and I found this. You can look her up. She's pretty cool. She has a great podcast, Faith Asherden. Anyway, so she was super sick. Like, she was bedridden sick with a hyperthyroidism, so Graves' disease, and all sorts of SIBO and everything else, to the point where she could no longer work, and she was stuck in bed for like 10 years, I think it was, or 5 years. And she healed herself with functional medicine, but the real magic source is when she started doing like NLP or like mindset stuff that we're inner work. And I have, so another little thing, this is kind of like not connected to the heartburn, but it kind of is that I haven't eaten dairy for a very long time because it caused a lot of issues. And I'm like, I want to be able to eat, and I'm talking about traces, like tiniest minute amounts of milk solids would still cause inflammation in my body. And I'm like, surely if my body was healthy and strong, I would be able to tolerate some amount of dairy. Even like beautiful goat's cheese or sheep's milk, that sort of stuff was still causing issues. So I found her, and she said every time I had dairy, cystic acne, lots of inflammation. I'm like, yes, that's what happened to me. Happened to me too. Anyway, so she was someone that I just like modeled, and she had this most vibrant. She's like, I am not sick. This is even when she was chronically sick. I'm not sick. I am healthy. I am whole. I'm just healing. And it was like, she just had this most motivational belief in her body's ability to heal. And so that's someone that I adopted. And while we were in Canberra, I ate sheep's cheese and goat's cheese and maybe even a bit of dairy and no issues. And I'm like, that is so cool.
That's awesome. So we've got Terry, you said yourself at 30 or 40 was fitter, healthier, more generally content. So good. Who do you know now that you could look to for inspiration? Who can you remember? What kind of stuff did younger Terry do on a daily basis? What did he believe? What were his values? Where have you kind of diverged and maybe got distracted or gone down? Gone down or gone off track. Lisa, I love that. Yeah. You said your daughter was courageous. That's
so cool.
That's awesome. And G, you said future G is kind, wise, fulfilled, inspiring people to become a better version of themselves, brave in facing every fear, selfless, be of service to society, building something great, strong to endure every struggle. I love it, guys.
So good.
Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have
the best day ever.